Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Today gonna be one of them shows, man. Today is just gonna be one of them shows. As you guys know, we've been talking about Bronny James ever since he became basically an NBA player in summer league. And with the Bronny James conversation, it's kind of created two different factions. There's the people out there that are pro Bronny, pro LeBron, pro what he's doing. They feel like there's nothing wrong, lay off the kid. And then there are other people on the other side like, well, wait a minute, something is wrong here. There was an abuse of power here. This guy may not really be that good. Why are you trying to silence us from giving you a different view versus what you see on ESPN and all of these various major news outlets, right? So that these two kind of groups going back and forth, but there's something in the middle, right? There's something in the middle. And what's in the middle is Bronny. And more importantly, it's not just Bronny, but it's his performance on the court. At the core of all of this is going to come down to how Bronny James performs as an NBA player who already has a 4-year guaranteed contract. So no matter what this group says over here, no matter what that group says over there, ultimately the results are going to speak for themselves, speak for itself. And right now, the results are not speaking. Yesterday, Bronny played in his third summer league game. And I believe it was a televised game. It was a star-studded affair. New Lakers head coach Redick was there. Rob Pelinka was there. LeBron was there. His mom was there. And in a game like this, going into this game, a lot of people were questioning Bronny James' aggressiveness because in the game prior, he scored 3 points, but he only attempted 3 field goals, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, maybe he attempted, he only attempted 3 field goals in that game, correct. And he scored 3 points. So people, I guess, in this game, and then given the fact that his parents were going to be there, he would want to be aggressive. But that's actually not what happened. As a matter of fact, he was one of the worst performers on his team. And given his production, one could have even questioned why he even started in the first place. The bright spot for the Lakers, I believe, is the player that they drafted, Dalton. And he actually finished that game shooting very well. He was 5 of 11 from the three-point line, shooting 45% from the three. He scored 25 points with 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and only 1 turnover, might I add, while shooting 50% from the field. But you would never know that because the person that is being hyped, that is being promoted now, if you go to Bleacher Report's Instagram page, their top 3 pinned posts, one of them is Bronny James with LeBron James. So the media are definitely promoting Bronny as if he's like this great player, or at least he's getting the attention that a great player would. But then when you look at his performances, it doesn't even come close to what a good, or forget about great player would be. In last night's outing, Bronny scored 8 points. The issue was he scored 8 points on 21% shooting from the field, going 3 of 14 from the field. He shot 0 of 8 from the 3. He did have 2 steals. He did have 3 turnovers in the game, but he did have 5 rebounds, and he hit both of his free throws. And after that performance, people on the internet have been roasting him, right? Not just individual NBA fans, but a lot of creators. A lot of creators have definitely been going in on Bronny James. A lot of people have been going in on him. And one of the comments that I read all throughout the internet, even on Twitter with a Clutch Sports post, and we want to show Clutch Points, post. I'm going to read one of the comments. One person said, he's a 2nd-round pick. Why are everyone pressuring him? Give him time. Another person said, putting way too much pressure on this youngster. Another person said, or the same person said, give him a minute. And then some other people were definitely not as nice. Some other people were not holding back. Other people were like, no, look, if you're going to be hyping up this guy the way that you guys do, if he doesn't perform up to snuff, we're going to call it like we see it. And that's exactly what people are doing. People are calling it down the line, and they're calling it even Cam and Mace, Cameron, who he said he knows Rich Paul and all of these guys. Even Cameron got to the point where he was just like, nah, I'm not feeling that field goal percentage. I'm not feeling the story about you going out there in one game and the next game they saying that you hurt. Mace was like, nah, that's a PR move. They were not feeling it. They were like, you got to be more aggressive. But even in this game, even though he was more aggressive, it is clear that he's not even the best player on his team. He's not even the best. Personally, what I think is happening is the following. I think that Bronny is being set up to fail. Number one, I've said that. And number two, I believe that Bronny is being used as a prop. I believe that he's being used as a prop, and the last person that's going to benefit from all of this is Bronny. Bronny right now is bringing in headlines for the major networks. They're going to be talking about him, promoting him. Rob Pelinka, the Lakers general manager, publicly admitted that the reason they did this was because of the story, right? To be the first father and son duo, given the fact that it's LeBron, he said the Lakers should be a team that should be able to make that type of history. All of this has nothing to do with Bronny. Absolutely nothing. And what's going to happen is all of the pressure is going to fall on him. Now, some people are saying, oh, wait a minute. Why are you only coming down on, you're only coming down on Bronny because he's related to LeBron James? That could be a factor. But another factor is the fact that LeBron has been open. He was the one opening his big mouth for the last few years, saying that Bronny could definitely be in the NBA right now. He's definitely better than some NBA players right now. Bronny could definitely play on the Lakers. That's what LeBron was saying. So LeBron was one of the biggest proponents as far as people that were heaping pressure on Bronny. And what LeBron fans want to do is just totally skirt the issue. They want to circumvent that reality and act like as if they don't understand where all of this scrutiny is coming from. They're like, well, I don't understand. Since when did a 55th pick get all of this attention? Why is he getting all this attention? You need to go ask his father. You need to go ask his father why he's getting all that attention. Because he was the one saying that this guy is going to be better. He's better than NBA players right now. So the question then becomes, do you believe him? Well, no, because nothing we've seen thus far has suggested that to be true. And trust me, take it from me. Even the NBA players that are talking about Bronny saying he's good at it, behind closed doors, they all know what it is. Trust and believe me. Most of them believe that Bronny should have spent an additional year in college. Forget about what they're saying on TV. Forget about it. They're just saying that to be politically correct. Behind closed doors, the vast majority of these guys believe he is not ready. Period. Forget about them sitting up there twerking it up all over the screen, knocking over each other, knocking it over each other's drink, pouring honey all over the. And by the way, speaking of honey, shout out to my man, I don't know him, Josh Hart from the Knicks. It seems like your man, Josh Hart, hit him with the pouring honey all over you with the Jalen Brunson when he took 150 for 4 years. I'm like, what's going on? Damn, what's going on? Shout out to him. I don't know if he got it from us, but we the ones that have been basically saying, pouring honey all over the place with these, because that's what they do. They just run up and down the hallway, hollering, screaming, slapping each other with honey, just basically disturbing the peace, running through the woods with torches in their hands, just basically acting a nuisance. And the minute you say something like this, all of a sudden, oh, you want to see a black man? Really? That's what we want to do? So Bronny's going to fail? He's the son of a billionaire. We're turning Bronny into a sympathy figure? No. You see, it would have been better, in my estimation, it would have been better if Bronny was at least a good player. If at least Bronny was going out there and scoring 15 to 20 a night. Then at least, because nepotism was there. But then some people would be able to say, well, you know what? Nepotism definitely played a role, but you got to hand it to the guy. He can really play ball. Like, he can really ball. But what's happening here is the total opposite. Nepotism is here, and in a compounded, he's not playing well. And I just feel so, because personally, I said this on many occasions, I think Bronny's a really, really cool guy. He seems like a genuinely nice person. And I feel like the person that is going to lose out in all of this is going to be Bronny. And I think it is unfair to him because I don't see how any of this benefits him. I do not see it. I don't see how any of this benefits him. Any of this. It is so sad. It is so sad. But the people I believe that you need to be blaming are LeBron in the media. Go to Bleacher Report's home. Matter of fact, we want to put up Bleacher Report's. Let me just verify this. Yeah, go to Bleacher Report's homepage on Instagram. The first post you will see pinned at the top is Bronny James with LeBron James. If you go to NBA on ESPN, go to their Instagram. The second post pinned at the top is Bronny James and LeBron James, a 55th pick. But then when we talk about it, people are like, oh, I don't understand why you're talking about it. The question is, why are they promoting it? Nobody wants to really deal with this question. All we want to do is sit up here and twerk it up and holler and scream and act like we don't know what the hell is going on. Then you got these dusty ass creators. They know who they are, running around creating content that nobody's going to watch. Mr. 17.8. You're going to be sitting at that. Like, this is what we doing. So I feel bad for the guy, but we're going to call it like we see. We're going to call it the same way we call it for everybody else. And all the people hollering and screaming about, oh, protect the black kid, protect the black. I'm still looking for you jigaboos when they was going off on Kwame Brown, because a lot of you MFers were laughing because y'all thought it was mighty funny. Do you know why you thought it was funny? Because Kwame Brown wasn't an elite. I keep going back to this point. Kwame wasn't elite. He wasn't a son of a billionaire. So he was fair game. But oh Lord, don't let them talk about King James. They're king. Don't let them go down that road. How dare you talk about LeBron? How dare you? Don't you know he's royalty and his kids are blue-blooded? How dare you? Who do you think you are? But we talk about everybody else. When Ben Simmons is up there just basically behaving like an absolute nuisance, but just basically stinking up, polluting the airways with his terrible play, we all laugh. But now all of a sudden, oh man, I feel bad for the kid. Oh, now all of a sudden I feel bad for the kid. But what about all these other guys? Zion Williamson isn't a kid. No, so now everybody else is grown, but Bronny a kid. All right, we see y'all. As you guys know, the NBA is in a very, very interesting space. They just finalized a $76 billion new TV deal that also includes some streaming with companies like Amazon. I think because we've covered this story a bunch of times, but I know Amazon is going to be a part of it. ESPN is going to be a part of it, and some other companies. We've covered this, but anyway, they found a way to ink a pretty lucrative deal. And what it looks like now is that every single night in the NBA, there are going to be some nationally televised games, right? That's how they set it all up. So the NBA is definitely moving towards making more money. They definitely found a way to 3x their money from their previous deal, which they were coming off of a $25 billion deal. Now they're heading off into a $76 billion deal with the network. So the NBA is definitely doing well, and based on the numbers that they're producing from a financial standpoint, one would think that it's all well and fun, but apparently it's not. And one of those people is one of the most vocal people in the NBA community, and that person is Charles Barkley. Now, if you know anything about Charles Barkley, he's never someone to bite his tongue about how he feels about a particular issue. It's one of the reasons he's had some various fallouts with players like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, who was his friend, because of his candid views. But Charles is someone that basically operates with the mindset of, look, I'm going to say what I think, and I'm going to say, and I'm not going to sit up here and lie to the audience for you, because the minute you start doing that, you lose a lot of credibility. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people in sports media that have no credibility. They're on TV for sure. They're making the big bucks on TV, but the audience out here, most of us feel like they're compromised, that they're not really saying what they think. They're only saying that to get a bag, right? Charles Barkley is one of the few people that's been able to say what he thinks and still make the most money. Who would have figured being honest and being yourself could get you a long way? So what happened was this morning, I came across an article from fadeawayworld.net where Charles Barkley was essentially blasting the NBA for prioritizing profits over the game and NBA fans. So those are the comments that we really want to focus in on today. So let's get into what Charles Barkley had to say here. So the article starts off with the headline saying, Charles Barkley blasts the NBA for prioritizing money over the fans. Continues on. Charles Barkley didn't hold back on the NBA. While speaking to Tom Friend and the Sports Business Journal, Barkley mentioned he didn't like the league. He didn't like that the league chose to take more money to take the league primarily to streaming services and take it away from cable, thus affecting several fans. But he also noted that these deals are because players and coaches want to earn more money, so he isn't surprised. Well, I think that you got greedy players and greedy owners. They really don't care about anything but how to make the most money possible. We should never put money above the regular fan. Everybody can't afford streaming. There's nothing wrong with streaming, but when you start going to the highest bidder, you're not on a regular you're not on regular TV. I think you do a disservice to the fans. But in fairness, the players want to make as much money as possible. The owners want to make as much money as possible. But the fans always the most important thing. No matter how much money you make, if the people are not watching, it's a lose-lose proposition. And then the article goes on to say one of the things that Barkley has always been someone who advocates for fair treatment of NBA fans, and he believes that fans are the biggest lifeblood of the NBA. Barkley himself faces a great concern thanks to the NBA's media negotiations, as his Inside the NBA show is set to go off the air with Warner Brothers Discovery losing the rights to his other partners. So you heard what Charles Barkley had to say there. Now, here's what's interesting about what Charles had to say. I believe in NBA circles, what he just said is controversial. I know it's crazy, but it is. In NBA circles, what Charles Barkley just said is almost taboo. It is. In NBA circles, they'd be like, wait. So hold on a second, Chuck. You want me to do what? You want us to take a little bit less money to prioritize the fans? Is he serious? Ha 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 ha. Everybody starts laughing, right? The fact of the matter is, the fans with every passing year are becoming an afterthought. Not just by the NBA, but also by the players. Where is this best exhibited? Go look at the All-Star games. Go look at the last two All-Star games. When you watch those games, did you get any impression whatsoever that those fans actually gave a damn? I mean, those players actually gave a damn about it. Like, let's just be honest. Do they even care to perform? Of course they don't. But what they do know is that fans will still tune in. They'll still buy the jerseys. They'll still go to the games. They know that about y'all asses. They know that, right? They seldom take fans into consideration whenever they're making these decisions. And to me, it's an incredible business model where you put absolutely zero value on your customers and somehow you make more money. As I said before at the beginning of the show, they found a way to 3x their revenue, which is incredible. How the hell do you even do that? It's like you own a restaurant and you're like, you know what, man? I know we used to care about service and all of that, but let's just serve them their food. We didn't even to say thank you, welcome to the store, nothing like that. And then somehow, some way, we're going to get 3 times the amount of people to walk in every day and patronize our food. And it works. It's unbelievable. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they were able to pull it off, but damn it, they pulled it off. They absolutely pulled it off. And I see this situation being irreversible. I see this situation being irreversible. I don't see us double backing and finding a way to fix it. I think it's over with. I think it's the new norm. And I think that NBA fans are just going to have to accept it for what it is. All right? They're going to accept it. They're going to have to accept it for what it is, because these people want to make money. Now, is there anything wrong with making money? Absolutely not. I believe in everybody should make their money. Go make your money. But at a certain point, when your customers begin to suffer, or when you start taking into account some of their complaints, then you have an issue, right? You have a serious issue. But for now, based on how I see things, I don't see any change in sight. There's not going to be any change. The NBA, I think after this next deal is going to be for 10 years, $76 billion. The next deal is probably going to be some astronomical number. And that is just going to be the way that it's going to be. And people are just going to have to deal with it. And if you feel any type of way about it, tough. So as you guys know, the Lakers right now are currently participating in Summer League. And yesterday, JJ Redick made an appearance. He was at the game. LeBron was at the game. His wife was at the game. General manager Palenka was at the game. They were watching the Lakers play. I forgot who were they playing yesterday. The Lakers were playing against the Houston Rockets. And in that game, Bronny James scored 8 points, but it was very inefficient. Wasn't really a good game. But you would never know that by the media coverage while the game was taking place. You would have thought that we were watching the next coming of Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, one of these people. But throughout that, it then brought up conversations about J.J. Redick, who you know is the new Lakers head coach. He's a figure that many of us have discussed and really questioned how he was able to land such a position with absolutely zero coaching experience anywhere. Not on a collegiate level, not on an NBA level, not even as an assistant coach, nothing, nada, right? So many of us were kind of figuring that out. But apparently what happened was J.J. Redick basically took a shot at the Lakers' former head coach in Darvin Ham by essentially questioning the way he ran his offense in some recent comments. So let's get into the article and read what J.J. Redick had to say. So the article starts off with the headline. J.J. Redick takes a shot at Darvin Ham, says the Lakers were running a random offense. Article then continues on. In an appearance on a recent ESPN broadcast, new Lakers head coach J.J. Redick made some comments about the process of adjusting to his new role. Interestingly, he exposed his predecessor Darvin Ham for not really having a set plan on offense. One thing we worked on was an early on system. One thing last year was they played random, said Coach Redick. When they played sets, they had a higher efficiency. We have LeBron, AD, but we're going to play with more movement and cutting. The Lakers had many ups and downs with Darvin Ham, from the ugly breakup with Russell Westbrook to last year's run to the Western Conference Finals. But after another failed stint for the Lake Show, JJ, a former NBA veteran, was named as the team's new head coach this summer after a dramatic hiring process. With the Lakers in such a weird place as a team, the franchise couldn't afford to mess this up after being spurned by UConn coach Dan Hurley. They finally settled on JJ, on their guy, JJ Redick. So you heard what JJ had to say there. What are my thoughts on this? Do you know what it's easy to do? It is easy to criticize something in terms of, oh, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do this, when you're not doing it. It's an entirely different thing to do it, to critique that thing when you yourself are doing it. I listened to an NBA player, I forgot who the player was. You know how sometimes when you're watching a game and you see players doing certain things, you're like, this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. Why did he make that decision? Why did he make that decision, right? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? And I remember this NBA player basically saying, things are happening too quickly for you to sit down there and be processing all of these things. You need to just make decisions now. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So sometimes you get it wrong, but you sitting there watching it on your couch, it may seem a bit apparent to you. But when they're playing on the court, there's a lot of things going through their mind. What's the point I'm making here? It's easy to criticize what Darvin Ham did. You've never coached a team. So of course you're going to have all the ideas. We're really going to know what you're made of when you're in the coaching seat and you try to implement a strategy and teams counter, and then you now have to improvise within the game. That's when we're going to figure out who the real great coaches are. That's when we're going to figure out if you're the Eric Spoelstras or the Ty Lues, or you're going to be one of those type of coaches, or you're just going to be a guy that really knows how to talk X's and O's, but doesn't go out there and execute. Whatever you say about Darvin Ham, here are the facts about his tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers. In his first campaign with the team, they went to the Western Conference Finals, and they lost to the eventual NBA champions. In the second season with the Lakers, they made it to the playoffs, and they lost, I think they were the 7th seed, and they lost to the 2 seed Denver Nuggets, because I think OKC was number 1, if my memory serves me right. Anyway, they lost to the Denver Nuggets in round 1, the NBA champs. So what we know about Darvin Ham is that he's at the very least good enough to help the Lakers be a competitive team in the playoffs. That's number 1. Number 2, since last year, the Lakers made it such a big deal about winning that in-season tournament. I expect the Lakers to win this in-season tournament again, and I'll tell you why I expect the Lakers to win this in-season tournament. Because the roster is largely unchanged. They basically have the same players. They drafted some new players, Bronny James included. So if you have the same roster, you have the same players, you added one or two pieces here, you should be able to at least get the exact results that Darvin Ham did, at least in the regular season. The Lakers should at least go out there and win the in-season tournament, right? If they don't, I think it's best you don't criticize a coach that was unceremoniously kicked out of his position to make way for the likes of you, who have absolutely zero coaching experience. None to speak of. On top of that, you somehow managed to escape through the media ire with no one discussing some of those allegations that you had about those women, accusing you of saying some racist things. You found a way to kind of escape through. Ime Udoka had no such luck. Joe Mazzulla had no such luck. But you did. Somehow you're now the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. We're happy for you. In my honest opinion, I think JJ should do a little bit less talking and produce a little bit more results. Because JJ talks a lot. He talks a whole lot. What we want to see are the results. And it's tacky as a head coach to go out there and say something like that about a previous coach, or at least in a roundabout way, talk about him. Usually what head coaches do is that they defend each other. But of course not JJ Redick, because JJ Redick is JJ Redick. He has all the answers. That's why I stand on it. JJ talks a lot. Eventually, we're going to have to see those results.